Hey everyone, it's Cameron from Repair for Interactive, back with another devlog for Onigatana. Firstly, we want to apologize for the delays. It has been a hectic couple of months. But we are excited to show you about how the demo got made and the struggles to get it across the line, as well as what we're going to do with the feedback that we got from the demo. We have listened to you guys and we will talk about that. So to quickly just summarize kind of what went down during the creation of the demo in the last probably month leading up to it, it can be categorized into these things. Number one, tons of balancing, right? So tweaking abilities, damage numbers, enemy values, etc. Secondly, level editing. This is mostly comprised of creating chunks, as well as changes to how the level gets made, particle effects and animations, lots and lots of bug fixing, and finally, performance issues. All right, let's jump into it. So, the balance patching, like I said, there was a lot of balancing. I got some notes here of just the balancing that kind of went into the game in the last 3-4 weeks before it. So, lots and lots and lots and lots of tweaks to damage numbers, to just the overall gameplay, and getting it to feel the way we want it to feel. Mostly comprised of just getting the abilities to match the design documents, but then beyond that, make them better than we even initially designed. We particularly had trouble with Electric Echo, which is the lightning ability's E ability, which allows it to place down beacons over a period of time, and you can reactivate it to essentially teleport back along the places that you've been, dealing damage along the way. Mainly, it was difficult because it's fundamentally different from every other ability because it has a continuous cost to it, making it very hard to balance its power to resource ratio. Next, level editing. This was mostly around adding visual spice to the arena. We didn't want it to just be empty space wherever you looked, so we added in some pillars, we added in some art assets that we've had previously made for us, make them rotate randomly on spawn, and boom, we have some visual variance around our level. Makes it a little bit more interesting to look at. Beyond that, we added some fog to the level to make sure that you can't see the edges of the world. You might be like, Karen, I thought the level was supposed to be infinite. Well, there were some problems with infinite level creation, which tie kind of into the performance issues. Loading in chunks became extraordinarily expensive to do. And so just for this demo, we trimmed it back to a finite level, still very large, but it definitely did help because we could simply spawn in everything, have it load, and then you could play. Okay. Particle effects and animations. So pretty much all particle effects and animations that you see in the demo had to be redone just before the demo was made. So I want to do a big shout out to Brad. Thank you for all the particle effects and cool animations. However, we do acknowledge that the basic attack is still pretty janky though. It didn't come out right on some of the stances, particularly the lightning stance, but we will touch more on that a little bit later. Now, for the performance issues, we had serious performance issues, which pretty much made the game completely unplayable. And it all came down to these flying enemies. I started to do research, break down, have a look at the structure, figure out where I could improve things. And my initial first thought was multi-threading. I was like, well, multi-threading sounds like a good idea. It will definitely improve performance, and it would. However, I was naive. Adding multi-threading to a project that's not set up, or I should say that the previous systems were not set up for, is not a small task. I went ahead, did my little research, created some mini projects to test it out. Made this little test project, followed an online tutorial where we had some little entities pathfinding asynchronously. All well and good. I do want to mention that I did get and follow this multi-threading tutorial from this YouTuber, Coderius. However, it's not just a simple task to take a concept like this and move it over. After about 3 to 5 days, I can't remember the length, maybe it was a week of just sitting down and trying to implement this thing and it just going wrong. This one didn't work, that one didn't work. I tried this way, I tried this way, I tried that way. I realized that it was never going to work with the way that the system was set up. And I did not have time to re-implement the whole thing. We had to scrap that. All that work pretty much went down the drain for now. And I started just to look at other ways that we could optimize the pathfinding. So I start digging and I find out that my previous algorithm was not using what is called a heuristic. What the algorithm I intended it to implement is called A-style pathfinding. This is a variation on a pathfinding system called Dijkstra's algorithm, or Dijkstra's pathfinding algorithm. Very effective at finding the best path to a location. However, it is extraordinarily expensive because it doesn't guess which way is the fastest way to the end goal. and so its load time is much more expensive. We found it, added A-star back to it. Performance was up. It was much better. However, still not perfect. The next layer to this was I was searching through many nodes. So many nodes. This was the amount of nodes I was searching through with Dijkstra's at one point. I think it pretty much just crashed the game. I think this was a bug, but I still thought it was funny to have. What's that? 3 million nodes searched. There were a lot of nodes in our level to navigate through. So the first thing to do is just simply cut the amount of nodes to search. So any node that was below the ground level, gone. And we also didn't need as many nodes above ground as well. We simply can cut that number down. The amount of nodes near the ground was absurd. So once we had all that fixed up, much less nodes, performance was much better. Now, still not perfect, but it is all I really had time to do for the demo. So this was a long video. So we're going to split it into 2 parts. Remember to like and subscribe, and we will see you in part 2. Thank you.